Admiral Kang Daeho stood in the command center of Earth's most secret military base, buried 3 kilometers beneath the surface of Mars. The red planet's harsh landscape above hid humanity's greatest achievement, a fleet of warships that could bend reality itself. For over a century, Earth had watched the galaxy from the shadows, learning, preparing, and building weapons that no alien mind could imagine. The holographic display showed 12 alien civilizations spread across the galaxy. The Veltar Empire ruled with ships made of living crystal. The Quinn Collective shared thoughts across millions of minds. The Next High Dominion existed as pure energy, dancing between stars like gods of light. All of them believed Earth was just another primitive world, barely capable of spaceflight. They were wrong. Captain Park Min-soo's face appeared on the main screen. His reconnaissance ship Shadow's Edge hung invisible in deep space, watching something that made his hands shake. "Admiral, you need to see this. The probe data from Whisper 7 is confirmed." The image changed to show the edge of known space. There, gathering in the darkness between galaxies, was an armada that stretched beyond sight. Thousands of geometric ships, each one the size of a city, moved with mechanical precision. They consumed everything in their path. Planets, stars, entire solar systems disappeared into their massive hulls. "The Vorth," Park said quietly. "They've already destroyed 3 colonies on the rim. Our intelligence shows they're not just raiders or conquerors. They eat worlds, Admiral. They turn everything into more ships, more weapons." Kang studied the tactical display. The alien machine fleet was heading straight for the galaxy's heart. Earth lay directly in their path, along with billions of innocent lives on thousands of worlds. The galaxy's major powers were already mobilizing their fleets, but their conventional weapons would be useless against this threat. "How long do we have?" Kang asked. 6 months, maybe 7 if they stop to harvest the outer systems. Kang touched his communication device. "Dr. Lee So-young to the command center, Priority Alpha." Within minutes, the lead scientist of Project Nemesis entered the room. Her white lab coat contrasted with the military uniforms around her, but everyone in the room knew she was the most important person on Mars. For the past 30 years, she had led humanity's research into the invisible force that shaped the universe itself, dark matter. "Doctor, the Vorth are coming. How soon can the Nemesis fleet be ready for combat?" Lee looked at the tactical display and smiled grimly. "Admiral, we've been ready for 20 years. The question is whether the galaxy is ready for us." She activated her personal hologram projector. The image showed 7 ships unlike anything in known space. They were sleek, angular, and seemed to bend light around them. Unlike the massive alien dreadnoughts that relied on thick armor and powerful shields, these human vessels looked almost fragile. "The dark matter warships exist partially outside normal space-time," Lee explained. "They can appear anywhere instantly, strike without warning, and disappear before the enemy can respond. Our weapons don't just destroy targets, they erase them from reality." Admiral Kang had seen the test footage. A single dark matter torpedo could make a mountain simply cease to exist. Not destroyed, not vaporized, just gone, as if it had never been there. The weapon attacked the fundamental forces that held matter together. "The galaxy's powers are already moving their fleets to intercept the Vorth," Kang said. "Should we contact them? Offer assistance?" Lee shook her head. "Let them try first. When they fail, and they will fail, then we reveal ourselves. The shock will be greater, and the message clearer." Captain Park's image flickered back onto the screen. "Admiral, I'm getting reports from the front lines. The Veltar crystal ships engage the Vorth advance guard near Kepler 442. It's not going well for them." The tactical display showed the battle in real time. Massive crystalline warships, each one a work of art that took decades to grow, fired gravity cannons that could crack planets. The Vorth responded with weapons that converted matter directly into energy. Both fleets were using technology that would seem like magic to most civilizations. But the Vorth were winning. "Their ships adapt," Park reported. "Every weapon the Veltar use, the Vorth analyze and counter within minutes. They're learning faster than the crystals can adjust their tactics." Kang watched alien vessels die in flashes of light. Each Veltar ship represented thousands of years of growth and millions of lives. The Quinn Collective was sending hive fleets from the core worlds. The Nexhi were gathering their energy-form battle groups. Every major power in the galaxy was mobilizing everything they had. It wouldn't be enough. Fleet Admiral Kim Tae-jun requests immediate briefing, announced the base's AI system. The Supreme Commander of Earth's military appeared on screen from his office in Luna City. His weathered face showed the weight of humanity's greatest secret. Behind him, holographic displays showed Earth's hidden military installations across the solar system. Admiral Kang, the Global Defense Council has reached a decision. We cannot allow the galaxy to fall to the Vorth, even if it means revealing our capabilities. Authorize the activation of all 7 dark matter warships. Understood, sir. What are our rules of engagement? Kim's expression hardened. Total war protocols. Show them what happens when someone threatens Earth's neighbors. Dr. Lee began entering commands into her console. Deep within Mars, automated systems began preparing the Nemesis fleet for launch. The 7 most advanced warships in known space would soon emerge from their hidden bases across the solar system. Admiral, Park's voice carried excitement and fear in equal measure. The Vorth just wiped out an entire Quinn hive fleet. 50,000 ships gone in less than an hour. The galaxy's communications networks are going crazy. Everyone's calling for emergency council sessions. Kang nodded. It was time. Doctor, begin the launch sequence. Captain Park, maintain surveillance and prepare for escort duties. All hands, this is Admiral Kang Dae-ho. For over a century, we have watched and waited. Today we show the galaxy that Earth protects its own. The hidden hangar doors began opening across the solar system. On Mars, beneath the ice caps of Europa, in the asteroid belt, and in orbit around Jupiter's moons, humanity's secret weapons emerged into the light of Sol. The galaxy was about to learn that the quiet species on the 3rd planet had been preparing for this moment since they first looked up at the stars. The Vorth had awakened something far more dangerous than any conventional alien fleet. They had awakened humanity's children, and Earth's children did not forgive threats to their extended family. The dark matter warships of the Nemesis fleet began their journey toward the front lines, carrying weapons that could reshape reality itself. The galaxy would soon discover that its salvation came from the species they had dismissed as primitive. The age of Earth had begun. The crystalline battleship Crystal Harmony twisted through space like a living diamond, its faceted hull reflecting the light of dying stars. High Christarch Velkan felt the ship's pain as Vorth energy beams tore through its crystalline matrix. Around him, dozens of his people's most beautiful warships were being systematically destroyed. Send the emergency beacon to all galactic powers, Velkan commanded, his crystalline voice ringing like broken glass. The Vorth are not just another threat. They will consume everything. Light years away, similar scenes played out across a dozen battlefields. The Quinn Collective's hive minds screamed in unison as their bioships were torn apart. The Nexhi Dominion's energy beings found their pure light forms scattered by Vorth disruption fields. Every conventional weapon, every proven tactic, every technological advantage the galaxy had developed over millions of years was being countered and overcome. Commander Yoon Hye-jin stood on the bridge of the dark matter dreadnought event horizon, watching the tactical displays with calm focus. Her ship hung in the space between dimensions, invisible to every sensor in the galaxy. Around her, the bridge crew prepared humanity's first official introduction to alien civilization. Communications. Open all channels, full spectrum broadcast. Communications Officer Han Wubin's fingers danced across his console. All frequencies active, Commander. Every ship in the Rigel system will receive our message. Yoon took a deep breath. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries. First contact with alien life. She had not imagined it would happen during the galaxy's darkest hour. This is Commander Yoon Hye-jin of the Terran Defense Corps to all ships in this system. You will withdraw immediately, or we will consider you hostile. The response was immediate and predictable. Velkan's crystalline laughter rang across the BOI communications channels. Another minor species thinks to threaten us? Human, your world has barely achieved interstellar flight. Leave this battle to those who understand war. The Vorth reaction was more direct. A massive machine dreadnought turned its weapons toward the source of the transmission, even though their sensors showed empty space. "Commander," reported Tactical. "Officer Park Sung-min. The Vorth ship is charging weapons. They're firing blind, but their energy output could damage nearby vessels." Yoon's expression remained calm. "Then we'll have to educate them about proper manners. Weapons. Prepare the main dark matter lance. Single target." The event horizon shifted slightly in its dimensional hiding place. Reality bent around the ship's weapon systems as they accessed the invisible framework that held the universe together. Dark matter, the mysterious substance that made up most of creation but remained unseen, began to flow through conduits that existed outside normal space. Target the Vorth dreadnought. Full power. The dark matter lance fired. To most observers, nothing seemed to happen. There was no visible beam, no explosion, no dramatic display of force. The Vorth dreadnought simply stopped existing. One moment it was a kilometer-long vessel bristling with weapons that could crack planets. The next moment there was only empty space, as if the ship had never been built. Silence filled the communication channels. What did you do?" Velkan's voice had lost its arrogant tone. "We removed a threat," Yoon replied simply. "Now, as I said, you will withdraw immediately." The Veltar crystal ships began moving away from the battle zone, their massive hulls gleaming as they turned to flee. But the remaining Vorth vessels moved to attack formation, their mechanical minds analyzing this new threat. "Commander," Han reported, "we're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. Every major power wants to know who we are and how we made a dreadnought disappear. Let them wonder for now. Tactical, how many Vorth ships remain in this system?" Park checked his displays. 47 vessels ranging from frigate to battleship class. They're spreading out, trying to surround our position. Yoon smiled. The Vorth were thinking in 3 dimensions, but the event horizon could move through 4. Take us into their formation. Show them what human engineering can accomplish. The dark matter warship slipped between dimensions, appearing inside the Vorth battle group. Suddenly visible, the event horizon looked small compared to the massive alien vessels surrounding it. But size meant nothing when you could attack the fundamental forces of reality. Fire at will. What followed was not a battle, it was a demonstration. Dark matter torpedoes phased through conventional shields as if they were made of paper. Vorth armor that could withstand antimatter explosions simply dissolved when touched by weapons that attacked molecular bonds themselves. The alien ships tried to adapt, their mechanical brains working desperately to understand this new threat. There was nothing to understand. The humans were using forces that most civilizations couldn't even detect, let alone counter. In 17 minutes, 47 Vorth vessels were reduced to scattered atoms. The event horizon hung motionless in space, its hull unmarked by enemy fire. "This is Rear Admiral Cho Eun-mi aboard the Terran vessel Voidwalker," a new voice announced over the communication channels. "We are transmitting coordinates for emergency. Galactic Council session. Earth requests immediate membership and joint command authority." Across the galaxy, alien leaders stared at their displays in shock. The next High Dominion's energy beings flickered with confusion. The Quinn Collective's hive mind struggled to process what they had witnessed. The Veltar Empire's crystal hierarch sang lamentations of disbelief. "How is this possible?" Velkan whispered. "Our surveys showed Earth as a pre-industrial world. Your people barely understand basic physics." Commander Yoon's voice carried quiet amusement. "Hi, Christarch. Your surveys were looking at our public face. We've been watching you for over a century, learning your technologies, studying your tactics. While you fought wars with conventional weapons, we learned to touch the invisible forces that shape reality itself. The dark matter," breathed the next High Dominator Luxasan, his energy form pulsing with recognition. "You've weaponized dark matter. That should be impossible." "Impossible for you, perhaps. Humanity sees solutions where others see barriers." Han looked up from his console. "Commander, We're receiving priority transmissions from the Galactic Council. Emergency session, they're requesting our immediate attendance. Not requesting, Yoon corrected. They're begging. Tactical. Do we have any more Vorth contacts in this system? Negative, Commander. All enemy vessels destroyed or fled. Then our work here is done. Yoon activated the ship-wide communication system. This is Commander Yoon Hye-jin to all Terran vessels. Mission accomplished. Return to dimensional hiding and await further orders. The event horizon began to fade from normal space-time, slipping back into the dark matter dimension where human ships could travel instantly between stars. But before disappearing completely, Yoon sent one final message to the assembled alien fleets. To all powers of the galaxy, Earth stands ready to defend civilization against the Vorth threat. But we do this as equals, not as subjects. The age, when stronger species could dictate terms to weaker ones, has ended. We are humanity, and we protect our own. The dark matter warship vanished, leaving behind only debris and the beginning of a new era. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations that had ruled for millions of years suddenly realized they were no longer at the top of the technological ladder. A species they had dismissed as primitive had just revealed weapons that made their greatest achievements look like children's toys. The Quiet Watchers from Earth had become the galaxy's new guardians, whether the established powers liked it or not. The Galactic Council emergency session was about to become humanity's coronation as the galaxy's protector. The question was no longer whether Earth would join the galactic community, but on what terms the rest of the galaxy would accept their new human overlords. Fleet Admiral Kim Tae-jun stood before the holographic display in Luna City's command center, watching as 7 points of light appeared across the galaxy. Each point represented a dark matter warship emerging from dimensional hiding, their arrival, detected by every sensor array within 100 light-years. Nemesis fleet is fully deployed, reported Admiral Song Ji-hoon from the bridge of the flagship Erebus. His vessel hung in the space between dimensions, reality bending around its hull like water around a stone. All ships report ready for combat operations. Kim nodded with satisfaction. For over a century, Earth had prepared for this moment. While alien civilizations fought their petty wars with conventional weapons, humanity had learned to touch the invisible framework of creation itself. Now, the galaxy would see what human ingenuity could accomplish when pushed to its limits. Admiral Song, you have tactical command. Show them what Earth's children can do. The Erebus was joined by 6 other vessels, each one a masterpiece of human engineering. The battlecruisers Void Reaper and Shadow Strike flanked the flagship, their dark matter weapons charging with power that could erase matter from existence. 4 destroyers, Phase Hunter, Reality's Edge, Quantum Storm, and Dark Horizon, spread out in perfect formation. 7 ships against the largest invasion fleet the galaxy had ever seen. Dr. Shin Ye-jin sat in her laboratory aboard the research station Discovery, explaining humanity's breakthrough to a gathering of alien scientists. The Veltar Kristark Velmaner flickered with confusion as she spoke. You must understand, Shin said patiently. Dark matter makes up 85% of everything that exists. Most species can barely detect it, let alone use it. Humans learn to see the invisible ocean that surrounds all matter. But how? The crystalline being's voice rang with frustration. Our greatest minds have studied dark matter for millennia. It remains beyond our reach. Shin smiled. Because you think like crystals, bound by rigid structures. Humans think like water, flowing around obstacles. When we couldn't detect dark matter with conventional methods, we learned to feel it with our minds. The truth was more complex, but the alien scientist didn't need to know about the decades of human volunteers who had allowed their brains to be modified with quantum processors. Humanity had literally evolved new senses to perceive what others could not. Our ships don't just travel through space, Shin continued. They slide through the dark matter framework that underlies reality. We can appear anywhere, anytime, striking from dimensions you cannot see or defend against. In the Proxima Centauri system, Admiral Song Ji-hoon studied the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The Vorth main fleet had surrounded the inhabited world, preparing to strip mine the planet and its 3 billion inhabitants. Over 3, 1,000 mechanical warships hung in orbit like metallic vultures. Communications, open a channel to all Vorth vessels. Communications Officer Kim Yuri nodded. Channel open, Admiral. This is Admiral Song Ji-hoon of the Terran Defense Corps. You have 60 seconds to withdraw from this system or face the consequences. The Vorth response came as a barrage of energy weapons. Thousands of beams lanced through space toward the 7 human ships, enough firepower to vaporize a small moon. The beams passed through empty space. The dark matter warships had shifted, slightly out of phase with normal reality, letting the attacks pass through them like light through shadows. Time's up, Song said quietly. All ships, weapons free. Show them why the galaxy fears Earth. What happened next would be recorded in the archives of every surviving civilization. The human ships didn't charge into battle or engage in dramatic dogfights. They simply appeared throughout the Vorth formation and began systematically erasing enemy vessels from existence. Captain Bae Soo-jin commanded the destroyer Dark Horizon from its position inside a cluster of Vorth battleships. Her weapons officer, Lieutenant Oh Min-ho, fired dark matter torpedoes that didn't explode on impact. They created cascading failures in the fundamental forces holding matter together. Target the command ship, Soo-jin ordered. Let's cut off their head. The torpedo struck the Vorth flagship, a vessel the size of a city. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality itself recoiled from the impact point. The massive ship didn't explode or burn. It simply ceased to exist, leaving a void in space that took several seconds to close. Throughout the battle zone, similar scenes played out. The Void Reaper, commanded by Admiral Cho Yun-mi, phased through a squadron of Vorth cruisers, her dark matter cannons turning them into expanding clouds of disconnected atoms. The Shadow Strike appeared above a group of enemy destroyers and fired a reality-warping beam that made them forget they had ever been built. Maintain open channels to all galactic powers, Song commanded. Let them see what happens to those who threaten inhabited worlds. The battle, if it could be called that, lasted 18 minutes. When it ended, the space around Proxima Centauri B was empty except for drifting debris and 7 human warships that looked as pristine as when they had arrived. Not a single Vorth vessel remained intact. Not one had managed to damage a human ship. Across the galaxy, alien leaders watched the recordings in stunned silence. The Quinn Collective's hive minds buzzed with theories and calculations. The Nex-High, Dominion's energy beings flickered with something approaching religious awe. The Veltar Empire's crystal hierarchs sang funeral songs for the concept of alien superiority. This is impossible, whispered Dominator Luxasan of the Nex-High. No fleet, no matter how advanced, could achieve such results against those numbers. Fleet Admiral Kim answered from Luna City, his image broadcast to the emergency Galactic Council session. Honored beings, you think in terms of conventional warfare. Humanity has moved beyond such limitations. We don't fight in 3 dimensions, we fight in 11. The truth was both simpler and more terrifying. Human weapons didn't just destroy targets, they attacked the mathematical constants that allowed matter to exist. Their ships didn't move through space. They convinced the universe that they had always been somewhere else. What do you want from us? Asked High Christarch Velkan, his crystalline voice cracking with fear. Nothing more than what we've always wanted, Kim replied. Peace, cooperation, and the right to protect innocent life. The galaxy is large enough, for all of us, but not large enough for those who would consume everything in their path. Admiral Song's voice joined the conversation from the Erebus. The Vorth main fleet has been eliminated, but this was just their advance force. Our long-range sensors detect additional fleets gathering beyond the galactic rim. If the galaxy is to survive, we must work together. Under human leadership, added Fleet Admiral Kim, making the new reality crystal clear. The Galactic Council had no choice but to agree. In less than a day, humanity had demonstrated technological superiority so complete that resistance was not just futile, it was unthinkable. The species that had once dismissed Earth as a primitive backwater now begged for human protection. The Terran Defense Corps will establish joint command centers on all major worlds, Kim announced. Human officers will coordinate defensive efforts with local forces. Our dark matter technology will be shared with allied species on a need-to-know basis. As the emergency session concluded, the 7 dark matter warships began their patrol routes around the galaxy's rim. They moved through dimensions that most beings couldn't perceive, appearing wherever threats emerged. Guardians of a civilization that was only beginning to understand what it meant to have humanity as protectors. The age of human dominance had begun not through conquest, but through an absolute demonstration that Earth's children were willing and able to protect everyone else's children as well. The galaxy had found its guardians, whether it wanted them or not. Dr. Park Ji-won bent over the microscopic remains of a Vorth warship, her enhanced vision revealing details that would have been invisible to unmodified human eyes. The research station Prometheus orbited the battle site, where humanity had first revealed its power, and the alien wreckage told a story that chilled her to the bone. "These aren't conquerors," she whispered to her assistant, Dr. Nam Soo-jin. "Look at the internal structure. This ship was designed for long-term travel, not warfare. They converted civilian vessels into weapons." Nam leaned closer, studying the crystallized metal fragments. Refugees? But they attacked every world in their path. Because they're desperate, Park realized. Something drove them from their home galaxy. Something so terrible that they're willing to destroy everything in their path just to keep running. 3 systems away, Commander Lee Dong-min guided his stealth reconnaissance ship Ghost Protocol through the void beyond the galactic rim. His vessel was humanity's most advanced scout, capable of existing completely outside normal space-time. Behind him lay the Milky Way, its spiral arms bright with the light of 400 billion stars. Ahead stretched only darkness. "Captain," reported Navigator Jung Hai-wan, "we're detecting structural anomalies in space-time. The readings don't match anything in our databases." Lee studied the sensor displays with growing unease. "Define anomalies." Space itself appears to be damaged, like something tore holes in reality and never bothered to repair them. The Ghost Protocol continued deeper into the intergalactic void, following the trail of disrupted space-time that marked the Vorth's passage. What they found 3 days later sent an immediate priority transmission back to Earth. An entire galaxy hung before them, but it was wrong. Stars flickered weakly, their light pale and sickly. Whole solar systems appeared to exist only partially, as if someone had erased random pieces from reality. Space-time itself was unstable, rippling like water disturbed by an unseen hand. "Admiral, Song," Lee transmitted to the flagship Erebus. "You need to see this. The Vorth weren't just running from something. They were running from the complete destruction of everything they knew." Admiral Song Ji-hoon materialized as a hologram on the Ghost Protocol's bridge, his expression grim as he studied Lee's sensor readings. "Commander, are you telling me that entire galaxy has been consumed?" "Not consumed, sir. Drained. Something extracted all the dark matter from billions of star systems. Without dark matter to provide gravitational scaffolding, reality itself began to collapse. The implications hit both men simultaneously. Dark matter was the invisible foundation that held the universe together. Remove it and space-time became as fragile as spun glass. Planets would lose their orbits. Stars would flicker and die. The mathematical constants that allowed atoms to exist would begin to fail. "What could do such a thing?" Song asked. Lee's next words sent chills through every human command center in the galaxy. "Something that feeds on dark matter itself, Admiral. Something that considers entire galaxies to be nothing more than meals." On Earth, Fleet Admiral Kim Tae-jun convened an emergency meeting of the Global Defense Council. The vast chamber beneath Geneva housed representatives from every nation, all united by the terrible knowledge that humanity had become the galaxy's protector at the worst possible moment. "The Devourers," announced Dr. Yu Min-seo, Earth's leading theoretical physicist. "That's what our xenobiology teams are calling them. Entities that exist purely in dark matter space, feeding on the dimensional framework of reality itself." President Chen of the Pacific Federation leaned forward. "Can our weapons affect them?" "Unknown," Yu admitted. "Our dark matter weapons manipulate the same forces these entities consume. We might be able to fight them, or we might just be providing them with more food. The holographic display showed the path of destruction leading from the dead galaxy to the Milky Way's edge. "They're coming," Kim said quietly. The Vorth were never the real threat. They were just the first course. Captain Kim Yuri stood on the bridge of the battlecruiser Void Reaper, watching as the most unlikely alliance in galactic history took shape around her ship. Veltar crystal vessels hung alongside Quinn bioships and Nex-High energy constructs. Even captured Vorth warships had joined the formation, their mechanical minds finally understanding that survival required cooperation. "It's ironic," she told her executive officer, Lieutenant Commander Huang Jinwu. "A week ago, these species were trying to kill each other. Now they're depending on us to save them all. Do you think we can do it, Captain? Fight something that eats the fabric of spacetime itself?" Yuri studied the tactical displays showing the approaching threat. Long-range sensors detected ripples in reality itself, moving toward the galaxy at speeds that shouldn't be possible. "I don't know, but I know we're going to try." The first signs of the Devourer's approach appeared at the galactic rim. Stars began to flicker as the dark matter around them was consumed. Space itself developed weak spots where reality grew thin. Entire star systems started to phase in and out of existence as their gravitational foundations were devoured. "They're not just consuming dark matter," reported Dr. Shin Ye-jin from her research station. "They're using it to fuel their own expansion. Each galaxy they destroy makes them stronger." Admiral Song gathered the commanders of all 7 dark matter warships for a virtual briefing. The faces of humanity's finest military leaders appeared in the Erebus's conference room, each one grappling with the magnitude of their task. "Current projections show the Devourers reaching the galactic core within 6 months, Song announced. "Every inhabited world will be destroyed not by conquest, but by the breakdown of physical law itself," Captain Oh Hyun-woo of the Destroyer. Phase Hunter raised the question they all dreaded. "Admiral, what if our weapons can't touch them? What if we're about to fight something that exists beyond our ability to harm?" "Then we find another way," Song replied firmly. "Humanity didn't become the galaxy's protector by accepting defeat. We became protectors by doing the impossible." Dr. Lee So-young's voice joined the conference from her laboratory on Mars. "I may have a solution, but you won't like it. Instead of fighting the Devourers, we could trap them." "Explain," Song ordered. "We use our dark matter mastery to create a parallel dimension, a pocket universe filled with all the dark matter they could ever want. Then we seal them inside it, cutting them off from our reality permanently." "The power requirements would be enormous," protested Chief Engineer Lim Jae-hyun from the Quantum Storm. "We'd need to coordinate all 7 ships' dark matter reactors simultaneously." Lee's pause told them everything they needed to know before she spoke. The ships would have to become permanent anchors for the dimensional barrier. Once activated, the process couldn't be reversed. The Nemesis fleet would exist forever between dimensions, maintaining the seal. Silence filled the conference room as the implications sank in. To save the galaxy, humanity's greatest achievement would have to sacrifice itself. The crews of 7 ships would be trapped outside normal spacetime, eternal guardians of a prison they could never leave. "How long do we have to prepare?" Song asked quietly. "The Devourers will reach the outer colonies in 4 weeks, Lee replied. "After that, the cascade effect will make dimensional barriers impossible to maintain." Song looked around the virtual conference room at the faces of Earth's finest commanders. Each one showed the same expression, grim determination mixed with acceptance of their fate. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said finally, "it seems we have a galaxy to save and a hell of a price to pay for doing it. Begin preparations immediately. Earth is depending on us to do the impossible one more time." As the conference ended, the 7 dark matter warships began moving toward their final positions around the galactic rim. Behind them, the combined fleets of 12 alien civilizations followed, ready to support humanity's desperate gambit. The galaxy's survival now depended on 7 human ships and their willingness to sacrifice everything for people they had never met on worlds they would never see. Reality began to scream at the edge of the galaxy. Admiral Song Ji-hoon watched from the bridge of the Erebus as space-time itself writhed in agony. The Devourers had arrived, and their hunger was already tearing holes in the fabric of existence. Stars aged 1 billion years in moments as the dark matter holding them together was consumed. Entire solar systems flickered between existing and not existing, their gravitational foundations devoured by entities that fed on the invisible scaffolding of reality. "All ships, report status," Song commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding before him. "Void Reaper in position at Anchor Point Alpha," reported Captain Kim Yuri. Her battlecruiser hung motionless in space, dark matter conduits extending into dimensions that shouldn't exist. "Shadow Strike holding at Anchor Point Beta," came Admiral Cho Yunmi's voice, tinged with the weight of what they were about to attempt. One by one, the 7 ships of humanity's Nemesis fleet confirmed their positions around the galactic rim. Each vessel sat at a precisely calculated point in space-time, their dark matter reactors charging with power that could reshape reality itself. Behind them, the largest military force in galactic history waited in formation. Veltar crystal ships that had taken centuries to grow, Quinn biovessels pulsing with hive mind intelligence, Nex high-energy constructs blazing like captured stars, even Vorth warships, their mechanical minds finally understanding that some threats transcended old hatreds. "Temporal readings are off the charts," reported Science Officer Park Sung-min from his station aboard the Erebus. "The Devourers aren't just consuming dark matter, they're eating time itself. Reality is unwinding behind them." Song watched the tactical display as the approaching threat grew larger. The Devourers didn't appear as ships or creatures on his screens. They registered as holes in space-time, voids where the mathematics of existence simply stopped working. "Dr. Lee, are you ready?" he asked. From her command center on Mars, Dr. Lee So-young's face appeared on the main screen. Behind her, banks of quantum computers processed calculations that would have been impossible just decades ago. "The dimensional anchor points are locked in, Admiral. But once we begin, there's no turning back. The ships will be trapped forever between dimensions." "Understood, Doctor. All ships, prepare for final transmission to Earth." Song activated the Yao fleet-wide communication system. His words would reach every human colony, every military base, every civilian listening post in the solar system. "This is Admiral Song Ji-hoon of the Nemesis fleet. In a few minutes, we will attempt something that has never been tried before, the creation of a permanent prison dimension for entities that exist beyond normal space-time. If we succeed, the galaxy will be safe. If we fail, reality itself may collapse." He paused, looking around the bridge at his crew. These men and women had volunteered for a mission they knew would end with their exile from normal existence. "We did not choose this duty because it was easy, but because someone had to stand between the darkness and everything we hold dear. Earth's children have always been explorers, always been protectors. Today, we become both." Commander Lim Soo-jin of the destroyer Quantum Storm activated her ship's external cameras, taking one last look at the galaxy they were about to save. Billions of stars stretched across space, each one home to countless lives that would never know the names of their saviors. "You know what's funny?" she said to her bridge crew. "A century ago, Earth was just another world no one cared about. Now we're about to sacrifice everything to protect aliens who used to think we were primitive. That's what makes us human." "Commander," replied her tactical officer, Ensign Ko Jamin, "we protect people whether they deserve it or not." The Devourers were close enough now that their effect on reality was becoming visible to the naked eye. Space twisted like heated metal. Stars began to wink out not from destruction, but from the failure of physical laws to function properly. The very concept of matter was being consumed. "All ships begin dimensional anchor deployment," Song ordered. 7 dark matter warships extended invisible tendrils into parallel dimensions, touching the hidden frameworks that held the multiverse together. Power levels that could fuel entire civilizations for millennia flowed through conduits made of crystallized spacetime. "Anchor Point Alpha secured," reported Yuri from the Void Reaper. "Anchor Point Beta holding steady," confirmed Cho from the Shadow Strike. One by one, the 7 ships locked themselves into the dimensional matrix that would form their eternal prison. Each vessel became a living seal, their crews forever bound to maintain the barrier between realities. "Dr. Lee, initiate the pocket dimension," Song commanded. On Mars, Lee's fingers moved across controls that manipulated forces beyond most beings' comprehension, creating parallel space in 3, 2, 1, now. Reality tore open like fabric. New dimension bloomed into existence, filled with dark matter and concentrations that would satisfy even the Devourer's impossible hunger. The pocket universe pulsed with energy, a banquet prepared specifically for entities that consumed existence itself. "They're taking the bait," reported Park from his sensors. "The Devourers are moving toward the dimensional opening. The entities that had destroyed entire galaxies flowed into the trap like water into a drain, drawn by the promise of infinite dark matter. They were creatures of pure hunger, incapable of resisting such a feast. "Close the barrier," Song ordered. "Lock them in." The 7 dark matter warships synchronized their reality manipulation systems. Space-time bent around them like molten glass, sealing the pocket dimension away from normal existence. The Devourers found themselves trapped in a universe designed to contain them, surrounded by all the dark matter they could ever consume but cut off forever from the reality they had been devouring. "Barrier is holding," reported Chief Engineer Lim Jae-hyun from the Quantum Storm. "But the power requirements are enormous. The ships are being pulled deeper into the dimensional matrix." Song felt the Erebus beginning to phase out of normal space-time. Around him, his crew worked calmly at their stations, knowing they were about to join their ship in eternal exile. "All ships, final status report," he requested. "Void Reaper maintaining anchor point Alpha. We're holding steady, Admiral." "Shadow, strike locked in position. The barrier is secure on our end." "Phase Hunter reporting all systems nominal. Ready for eternal duty, sir." "Reality's Edge maintaining dimensional seal. It's been an honor, Admiral." Quantum Storm holding the line. "Earth can be proud. Dark horizon at full power. The barrier will not fail." Song smiled as his flagship began to fade from normal existence. Through the viewports he could see the galaxy spread out in all its glory. 400 billion stars, trillions of worlds, countless species that would live and love and dream because 7 human ships had chosen to sacrifice everything. "This is Admiral Song Ji-hoon to all galactic forces. The Devourers are contained. The barrier is permanent and unbreachable. The galaxy is safe." Fleet Admiral Kim Tae-jun's voice reached them from Earth, emotion thick in his words. "Admiral, on behalf of humanity and every species in the galaxy, thank you. Your sacrifice will never be forgotten." "We're not sacrificing anything, sir," Song replied as the Erebus continued its transition between dimensions. "We're just extending our patrol route a little." The 7 dark matter warships faded from normal spacetime, becoming eternal guardians of a prison that held the galaxy's greatest threat. They existed now between realities, their crews forever watching to ensure that the dimensional barrier never failed. Years passed. The galaxy rebuilt, prospered, and grew. New species joined the Galactic Council, always hearing the same story. During their initiation, when extinction came for everything they held dear, the humans stood in its way and said, "No further." Dr. Shin Ye-jin, now elderly and honored throughout the galaxy, led the memorial station established at the dimensional barrier's edge. Sometimes, deep space monitoring equipment picked up faint transmissions from beyond the seal, status reports, duty logs, and occasionally, human voices singing songs from Earth. Are they still conscious in there?" asked a young Veltar Christarch during one of her educational tours. Shin smiled sadly. "They're still on duty, child, still protecting us." The crews of the Nemesis fleet chose to become eternal, guardians, watching over the galaxy from a place where time moves differently. The galaxy learned to look up at the stars not in fear, but in gratitude. Somewhere beyond the edge of normal reality, 7 human warships continued their watch. Earth's children had become legends, protectors who sacrificed everything so that others could live in peace. And in the space between dimensions, Admiral Song Ji-hoon stood on the bridge of the Erebus, watching over a galaxy that would never forget the price of its freedom. The dark matter warships had entered their final battle, but their legend would burn forever in the hearts of every species they had saved. Humanity had become the galaxy's eternal guardians, and the galaxy was safe